Good morning. We're in my backyard again. Take a few minutes to just notice and listen to the bird song. I hope you can hear it. I've been really enjoying it. I even heard a woodpecker in the distance this morning. I am Pastor Lori Kochanski. I am the assistant to the bishop. Oh, it's a Carolina wren. I just got a little distracted there. Thank you. Right here in the middle of Albany where I live, I am the assistant to the bishop. I work with faith formation and spiritual formation. I'm a spiritual director, and so in my 9 at 9 times, I often look for ways to steer us towards some practices that could be helpful in this time. Not just in this time, but in all time. As I was preparing this morning, I was reflecting on how my body feels, how I have been perhaps not attending to it the way that I normally do, loading myself down with things that I should be doing and expectations that really I placed on myself. Kind of a sense of avoidance in a time where I'm a bit confused about what I really am about, what the world's about. It reminds me of another time in my life. It's triggered that for me. I'm sure some of you have been triggered by other times in your life, and when you felt this way, though we've never faced this particular thing before, but it reminds me of about a month after my ordination. I was ordained in August of 2011, and 2001, excuse me, look at that, 2001. And it was a month after I was ordained that 9/11 happened. And I remember waking up that morning, and I remember watching on the news, and I remember thinking what to do. And then I remembered that I was, before I saw all the news, I was preparing to go to a yoga class. And so I don't know what came over me, perhaps shock, perhaps some of the things I'm still feeling now about life. But I woke up and I decided to go to that class. And the class was held in an Episcopal church in their chapel. And so others, actually, to my surprise, the teacher and others arrived as well. We were a bit more somber than normal. We had to move the chairs from around the middle of the chapel to the side. And so we did that. And then we moved into our bodies. We started to pay attention to how we were feeling. We prayed. We thought, we wondered, but we did it with our bodies, embodied in how we were feeling and holding the tensions of the world around us, perhaps preparing us for what came next. So as I was thinking about the practice for this week, noticing my own body and remembering that time of how important it was to take care of myself, I did some research about praying with the body and some helpful prayers. So this morning, I'm going to lead you in some body prayer based in Julian of Norwich. So some of you might know who she is. We actually don't know her actual name. We call her Julian of Norwich because in England, that is where she was an anchorite and a mystic in the town of Norwich in the church, St. Julian. And so Julian lived in the 14th century, a time that was filled with the bubonic plague, which she saw, the 100 Years' War, the Peasants' Revolt, leading into a time of unfortunate loss, pain, suffering, and in the midst of it, she too got sick. We don't know what the illness was, and in the illness, she had visions of God, which are encompassed in a book, and in that book, she talks about how she used her body, how she created this body prayer from the visions she experienced. And the visions were all of a loving God who was there in the midst of the pain and the suffering of the time. And so this morning, I want to share with you part of what she sees as a wanting, as a connecting with creation. And also, perhaps, a practice you can use throughout the day when you find yourself sitting or being distracted or using all kinds of media to distract you. To find spaces and times to either step outside or step away from your desk and do this body prayer. So I'm going to step a little bit away from the camera so you can see some of this. If you feel so inclined, I invite you to stand up where you are and to try to practice this with me. We're going to go through it 3 times. And the first pose, and again, this was how she envisioned it, and she attached words to each part of the practice. And the first one is to stand with your hands close to your hips and open. And this part, she attached the word await. Await. Await life, not in the future or the past, but await it as it is. So standing here. And then she attached the word allow to this motion. Allow. Allow. Allow, allow, allow. Allow things as they are. Try not to control. Accept. Now in the accepting, she doesn't mean to accept things as they are and not have some hope, but to hold close God's presence. And the last motion is to attend. So let's try it all as one. So we await, we allow, we accept, we attend. Make sure you're breathing through this. Let's try it again. We await, we allow, we accept, we attend. My prayer is that you find spaces and times to be in your body, to fight off that need to be so much in your head, but to notice how God meets us in this as well. So in closing, we'll do it one more time. By this time, maybe you've stood up. We await, we allow, we accept, we attend. And in all of this, we're attending to God's presence. Unimaginable, unmistakable, here. May your day be a blessing. May you notice God. May you attend to one another and attend to yourself.